Casey's Top 40.
Hi, this is Casey Kasem. A British singer named Seal has sealed up the #1 spot in our survey for the 8th week in a row. But to stay there, he'll have to fend off the likes of Janet Jackson, Mariah Carey, and Hootie and the Blowfish. Can Seal hang in and get his 9th week at #1? We'll find out as we count down all the biggest hits in the USA on Casey's Top 40.
Casey's Top 40.
I'm Casey Kasem. Casey's Top 40 originates in Hollywood. Well, now we're up to the first hit for a newcomer with one of the most exotic backgrounds we've ever come across. His full name is Seal Henry Samuel, but he performs under the much simpler name of Seal. Seal is tall, over 6 feet tall, as slim as a dancer, with jeweled dreadlocks. One music critic said he looks like, quote, a postmodern African Maasai warrior. But that's only the beginning of Seal's exotic appeal. One of his parents is from Nigeria, the other from Brazil. Seal himself grew up in a small English town called Paddington, and that's where he made his first musical appearance in school, singing the reggae song I Can See Clearly Now at the age of 11. By the time Seal was in college, he had joined a London funk band as a singer. He went on tour with them to Japan, and then he decided to stay there for a few weeks and see what he could find traveling around the Orient. Those few weeks stretched into a few months, and then into more than a year. In that year, Seal sang for his supper in Thailand, India, and Nepal. He says that he found out a lot about himself in those exotic cultures. He came to realize that there are many paths to happiness and contentment, that sometimes success can mean just making it from one day to another. These days, Seal's enjoying the happiness of his first success on the pop chart, singing in the unique style he developed in all those exotic places. Rising 4 notches to number 16 on Casey's Top 40, here's Seal with his song called Crazy. He used to sing with a jazz band called the Brand New Heavies, but now Seal sings on his own. That's his first Top 40 hit, Crazy, and this week it rises a notch to number 8.
Number 17.
Rising 2 notches is Seal, a singer who says that even after all his success, he hasn't spent a lot of money on possessions, except that is for things electronic. He says that when it comes to electronic hardware, he just can't resist buying the latest technological gadgets. Yet, no matter how many electronic toys he buys, Seal still has a very human side, as shown on his latest hit, Prayer for the Dying.
When he was a little kid, he had a paper route. Can't you just picture him riding his little bicycle, tossing newspapers? I'll bet he'd aim for the rose bushes or sprinklers. They always do that. That's Seal, Prayer for the Dying, falling forward to 24 this week.
Casey's Top 40.
I'm David Perry, sitting in for Casey Kasem. Now we're up to the new #1 song in the USA on Casey's Top 40, brought to you by Johnson's Clean and Clear. This week's #1 is by a British singer who says all his life he suffered from panic attacks, and he's found the best way to overcome those attacks is to just start singing. In his videos and in his live performances, the man who sings this week's #1 has presented an image of complete control. As he moves fluidly and sings flawlessly, he always appears to be calm and collected. But according to this talented star, that image disappears when he's not performing. It seems that throughout his life, the 32-year-old singer has suffered from terrible panic attacks. Sometimes those attacks get so intense, his whole body freezes from fear. There have even been days when all the singer can do is hide in his room and block out the world. In recent years, this British singer has had to deal with his fear at some very high-profile events. In 1992, when he picked up 2 trophies at the Brit Awards show, he was so nervous he didn't speak a word. Another time, after performing at the Grammys, someone told him that Madonna wanted to meet him. He says just the idea sent him into an attack of sheer terror. Fortunately, the singer has a way of dealing with those anxiety attacks. He says whenever he starts to feel uncomfortable, he simply starts to sing. It's a trick that's helped him get out of all sorts of awkward situations. And with a voice like his, people don't seem to mind when he breaks into a song right in the middle of an interview or on talk shows. And it's that voice that can be heard on the song that has now become the biggest hit in the land. The brand new #1 song in the USA on Casey's Top 40 is Kiss from a Rose by Seal.
Casey's Top 40 is heard in the 50 states and around the world every week on great radio stations like Fly 92, today's hottest hits, Albany, Schenectady, Troy, New York. Maximum Power, KQ 106, Hobart, Oklahoma. Well, now we're up to Don't Cry. It's by a singing star who did a lot of crying as a child after he came down with a mysterious, incurable disease that has left permanent scars on his face. The singer is Seal, and he recently revealed that when he was 8 years old, he came down with a disease known as lupus. It's an inflammatory disease that mostly affects the skin of the face. Scientists don't know what causes it, and they don't know how to permanently cure it. About 1 person in 20,000 comes down with lupus, but many times it's very mild. In severe cases of lupus, connective tissue all over the body becomes inflamed, and sometimes the disease can be fatal. When Seal got the disease as a child, he says he was so tired all the time he couldn't get out of bed. As with many sufferers from lupus, he developed rashes all over his body, which led to the scars he still has on his face. In time, as with many people with lupus, the symptoms went away, but never completely. And Seal still has outbreaks today because doctors have yet to find a cure for lupus. But Seal has never let all that get in the way of his love for music. He's pursued his career and moved ahead with his life. And this week, the current hit in that career is survey song number 32 on Casey's Top 40. Here's Seal and Don't Cry.
Counting them down with Casey K.